Welcome everybody to SkySwitch University CamCommand White Label Video Surveillance as a Solution webinar. We appreciate everybody showing up today. We know you're all busy. We're going to be respectful of your time. This is Jason Jones. I'm the EVP of Business Development for SkySwitch. I think I know a lot of you out there. Again, thank you for showing up. We've got a resident expert, Andre Fontana, that's going to be helping us with the webinar today. We're going to try to keep this as interactive as possible, keep it light, keep it fun, but keep it informative, which is the ultimate for us right now, because we want you to understand that this is another white label service that you can take out to your customers to generate more revenue out of your current customer base. They want to give you more revenue. They may not vocalize it or describe it in that way, but if you take these services out to your customers, and one of the things I want to talk about too before we get started with the webinar is video surveillance and what it means to a business. You know, every business owner, every entrepreneur, they start up a business. That business is their baby. That business is their lifeline. And they want to incubate that business, and they want to grow that business, and they want to watch after that business. And there's no better way to watch after a business than to utilize video surveillance. So they, at any time, they see movement in their business after hours, it can notify them. They can look at that camera and see live streaming viewing of their business, of their cameras that are inside that business, every aspect, the dock, the loading dock, the front office, the back office, their own, CEO's office. So this is important information to convey to them, to let them understand what advantages and what technology you're bringing to them, above and beyond unified communications and voice services. So we're going to get started here real quick. I'm going to turn it over to Andre, and then we're going to make it as interactive as possible. Andre, you've got the floor. Thank you.
I'm here. Can you hear me okay, Jason?
I got you perfectly clear.
All right. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. I wanted to go ahead and start off and reiterate kind of a little bit about what Jason was referring to as video, and also get you guys to understand that video is not just for security, okay? Video is to ensure that the employees are doing what they're supposed to be doing. It's to allow for an owner or managers to be in more than one location at a time, and it's really to get an objective overview of what's happening in these customers' businesses. So when we sell to our customers video, it's more than just security, okay? Think of it as the whole picture, as an eye in the sky to be able to be in multiple places at a time. And the agenda for today is really to go over the CamCommand and what it offers and how dynamic it is and robust. But not only that, the simplicity of how you deploy it, the benefits for the customers that they get, and then not only that, how we're removing points of failure and going into the new century of cloud and how we're communicating with cloud as a whole. Okay, so here's a quick overview. Jason will be going over some pricing, guys. So I know some of you will have questions. How much is it? How much is it? How much is it? Well, we'll go over all that stuff with you today. And then at the end, don't leave, because we're going to go into a live demo presentation so you can see everything hands-on. And then Jason's going to go into how you can actually start seeing or selling this service. So first off, let's talk about the market as a whole. Now, a lot of you guys are hosted cloud, UCaaS systems, right? So you understand the mentality of what it takes to sell RMR, and your customer's mentality is already there to pay RMR, right? So you've already reached this goal and easy target because you know how to sell it. Now we just need to incorporate video into that model. But when we look at the statistics in the market, as new people to video surveillance as a whole, we are looking at an industry that has reached, in 2016, about $25 billion, okay? Now, this $25 billion in revenue, and of that, cloud reached a $1.2 billion, okay? This is insane to see the rapid growth of something taking over so much of an industry. Now, if you look at the scales on the bottom, you'll see 2002, I started in 2007, and I was pushing 4-SIF resolution to the cloud, and nobody was barely buying it, struggling, you know, eating ramen noodles. Well, as we started to grow this industry, it started to take off in 2014 and 2015. Well, the CAGR on this market alone was at 17% in 2014. We're now reached 23% in total takeover of all video surveillance solutions. So that means that 22 to 23% of all cameras that are being sold now go to the cloud. And that's just a jump from 2016. So as you can see, everybody is going into the cloud, especially SMB businesses, right? So deployments anywhere between 1 to 5 cameras. Now the drivers for this is that retail locations, retail owners own 50, 60, 20 locations, and they don't want to buy a $2, $3, $4, $5,000 server that they have to put at each site that's going to go bad in 4 or 5 years that they need to replace. What they're going to do is now they're just going to put cameras on site, which we're going to show you, and it plugs straight into the cloud. Hybrid solutions, analog, and also the increased bandwidth. I have bandwidth at my location. It's $60 a month, and I get 1 gig of internet speed. 1 gig. Just the comparative, to give you guys an example of what 1 gig of bandwidth is, I could put 4,000 cameras at my house and stream to the internet with our solution. 2016, just as some, you know, some eye candy here, some nice little bubbles. You can see a breakdown of what the industry is actually providing. Guys, there's more business out here for everybody. I mean, every hosted VoIP customer that you have should be on a hosted video solution. So now we're going to talk a little bit about traditional VMS versus the Camcommand VMS. And for those of you who aren't really familiar with this, there's a lot of issues with traditional VMS. If you go with larger systems or more professional systems that you would want your businesses to have, very much like your phone systems, you're going to see all of the points on the screen here. You got to get certified, 2-week course. You have incompatibility between upgrades. And what we mean is that the firmware on the camera might not be compatible with the firmware of the VMS that you're using or the version of the software of the VMS. So these two things, right, have to work together. And it's a pain to try and find the correct one. And you're sitting here 3 hours between you're done installing VMS and setting up cameras. Network expertise. Well, not only do you have to figure out all the firmware mumbo jumbo, right, well, now you need to know how to port forward a camera on a network, right? Or you have to know how to configure the network configuration. Well, how do you assign, you know, static IP addresses? How do you do all this stuff that takes more expertise, a higher paid installer, and just quite frankly, it boosts up the cost of your total cost of ownership. Maintenance, right? Maintenance is never included in these VMSs. If you want maintenance on them from the software company, guess what? You got to pay another additional fee. Support purchased separately as well. It's similar to maintenance, but it can be a different fee, and many, many other items. Not taking away the box that you have, the mounts, the rack, the cage for all this stuff as well. Now we talk about deploying the VMS. Here we got to download the VMS, we got to install the prerequisite, we got to set up the server, we got to mount the server, we install the VMS, we locate the compatible firmware. All of these things that you see here take time, and it's anywhere between 3 to 3.5 hours just to set up these boxes.
Hey, Andre.
Some of you, go ahead.
Hey, Andre, I just want to say too that, you know what, the audience that we have that's on this webinar today, many of them probably came from the PBX interconnect type market where they've selling PBXs and so forth. So you get what's been happening out there. It's the same methodology that's being applied to VMS here, right, and to cloud surveillance as what was going on with the PBX. You've got to install all this hardware and firmware and go through all that pain and agony, and customers want to get away from it. And that's why they're moving to the cloud. For the same reason they're moving to the cloud for voice, they're moving to the cloud for video. Just wanted to add that in.
That's right. That's right. That's right, Jason. And it's the exact same thing that's happening in our market. And it happened first in yours, right? And part of the reason why it was able to happen with you guys first is because you didn't require as much bandwidth as video does. Well, now that we've been able to compress video and get it down to levels that are just unbelievable, we're able to, and the increase, right, we're able to do these hosted solutions. And now the customers just need to know it's here and it's available, right? So we talked about the deploying and what it takes for traditional systems, much like your PBX system. Now let's talk about how to deploy the Camcommand solution. And this is not a joke. We're going to show you how this works, but you're literally taking the cameras, you're giving them internet access, you're pushing a button on your phone that's going to either scan a QR code or, you know, scan the network, however you have it set up, and boom, you're done. That is literally all you do. There is no network configuration, there's no firmware upgrades, there's no software maintenance, there's no nothing. It's just connect the camera to the internet, add it through the mobile app, and voila.
It is so, I just want to say one thing too, real quick, Andre. It is so much easier than deploying VoIP. Deploying these cameras is way easier because you don't have to go out there and you don't have to configure auto attendance and program and BLFs and all these other ancillary services that you have to deliver when it comes to voice. A camera is truly plug and play.
That's right. And, you know, obviously you don't have as many cameras in an office that you do a phone system. You might not, depends how many they have. But profit margins that you can get from these are, I mean, they're anywhere between 2 to 3 times the fold of the cost of what you pay for it, right? So, and it's easy to go into a customer and say, hey, customer, you're buying VoIP, you're spending $500 a month, right? For $100 extra, we can give you full visibility, right, into your business. So we talked about the solution. Now let's talk about kind of what else it can do. Well, as you know, there's no limitation on how many cameras you can have as long as you can withstand it per location on the bandwidth. There's no limitation to how many sites you can have. You can have 1 million sites. You can be one in China, one in Japan, one in United States, Canada. It doesn't matter. It all syncs into one platform. You can have, it doesn't matter what kind of camera you use. So this isn't proprietary, right? You can use an Amcrest camera with an Axis camera with a Samsung camera at different locations depending on what need it is or depending on what price they want to pay for those cameras. And it's an unlimited amount of users. So if they want to give their office manager or their janitor, access to the camera systems, then they can as they wish. When we talk about ease of use, we've worked really hard on the Camcommand platform to really make it easy for your users. If your users cannot use your product, then it will not start to sell itself and continue to sell itself. The best type of leads and organic growth is from the referral business. So having your name blasted through the mobile app and through the platform constantly in your customers' faces is really good because it gives you that brand recognition that you need when you sold the job and you get referrals from it. Well, not only do we have that brand recognition for you, we also provide this ease of use for your customers to where everything is just simple. One of the new things we talked about, some of you might have seen, this presentation before in a past or at a trade show or wherever you guys are looking at this product, but this is something cool that's new, just coming out. You can buy this now; it is available. But we have integrated the first 360 de-warping camera on a cloud platform, and what you're going to see here is that this is, it's almost like Google Earth. Watch the camera on your left, okay? You're going to see that you can now fly through a 360 image that allows you to move with your finger anywhere throughout that image you want to go. And this is a circle, right? So it's actually recording that whole image there. What allows you to double tap and go to specific motion spots and see how it moves. Double tap out. Double tap back in, and you see constant motion. And not only is it live this way, but it's also recorded. So this is the first of its kind. It does not exist in this market. I've been in this market alone for about 12 years, and I can honestly say that this is the first cloudly working technology within it, and you guys have the availability to sell it now. So where would we do this? If we look, go ahead, Jake.
No, so this is great technology. So what does one of these cameras cost? I mean, what's the wholesale price for our resellers for one of these cameras?
Well, before we go into the price, let's talk about what it's used for and how you can justify the cost, right? Because not saying that it's expensive, it's not. But if we look on the right, typically we can set up quad views, right? So now I can get access of 4 cameras, almost 4 camera views, right, with 1 camera. So what have I just done? I have eliminated installation for 4 cameras. I've eliminated the cost of 4 cameras, and I provided playback and visibility now with 1 view. This is the power of all of this, right? So when we talk about the cost of the camera, these cameras you can get anywhere between $200 to $500 to $600 depending on the quality that you want. So it's a lot cheaper than putting up 4 cameras. Okay? Not only that, it's a wow factor for your customer to be able to fly through. The same reason why they like Google Earth, right? You know, because it's easy to move through Google Earth and go down the street and see everything with 1 view. And this is what this camera does.
Awesome.
When we talk about the setup, you know, there's 2 different kinds of setups. We've got Hanwha setup, we've got Axis setup, we've got Amcrest setup. Well, I wanted to be able to show you how we set up a Hanwha camera because this is also new. All you have to do is you plug the cameras into the internet, you jump on the Wi-Fi with your phone, and you scan the network. It automatically finds the cameras, and then it goes, hey, whoa, there's something going on with the firmware. I need to update it. You have an old version. The mobile app, just from that button you push, automatically starts updating the firmware and the cameras for you. It gives you visibility into all of the information from that camera, and you're literally going and taking a coffee break while all this is going on, okay? It's doing all the work for you. I want to fast forward. This is a time lapse, so you can see how long in active time that it's taking. But if we jump forward just a couple minutes there, then now all of a sudden it adds it to the customer site that you're in. We're at 4 minutes here. You configure the camera, you flip the image, you turn whatever settings on that you need, and then after that, you simple focus if you need to. Then you're going to press done, and at, let's see, right at 5 minutes, you've installed 5 cameras onto your platform for your customer. You've upgraded all their firmware, you've configured them, and now your customer has a live view. Just that simple. What do you think about that, Jason?
I think that is absolutely incredible. Loving it.
We're basically just doing everything for you. I mean, it's no network expertise. There was no port forwarding, and there was no prerequisites. There's no server on site that's going to go bad. It's a dumb switch, right, unmanaged, and it's just plugged into the internet.
It kind of reminds me of the old infomercial, the Ronco grill. You set it and forget it, and it's good.
Right.
That's awesome.
That's exactly right. Yeah, and I like the grill bots too. Have you seen the grill bots lately? They just go and clean your grill for you now.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
So I also wanted to go over some compatible camera. We decided to kind of take it easy on you guys in the beginning. We really wanted to only provide 2 cameras that allowed you to sell, so it wasn't complicated, right? So the 2 cameras that are currently in the CamCommand store are the Axis brand and the Amcrest brand. And you can go in there today, right now, and purchase these cameras, okay? The Amcrest is a very easy setup as well. It's a point shoot with your camera on your phone, and it automatically adds it in for you. The Axis is pretty easy. You just add the MAC address and the serial, and then it adds it in there for you. And you saw the Hanwha one. And Hikvision one went on there because there are some of you that already know how to do video and you are already Hikvision partners. So that was a request coming from you guys to go ahead and add that in there. It's not a plug-and-play solution, but it is an excellent API integration. that allows you to sell affordable cameras, and some of you guys already knew how to configure them, so we did lease them. If you're looking for the plug and play, you want to stick with these three here, and you can purchase, of course, in the store right now, Amcrest and Access. I didn't know if you want to maybe add something, Jason, that you're a little bit more familiar, since I'm kind of newer to this.
Yeah, we started off with the Amcrest. The Access are going to be there. They're not quite there yet. They're scheduled to be in there in December. And then the Hanwha, with the new technology that Hanwha comes out with the 360 view, we plan on getting those added in sometime in the Q1 of 2018. So there's it's important for us to give you lots of options to choose from, because not every site's identical, and no two customers are identical. So we want to be able to provide those to you also.
Excellent. So now we go into some of the features, and we're going to go over this, guys, and you're going to get a lot of documentation provided, so you can check this later. But just to reiterate what we saw, you get secure HD cloud storage. This is not a VGA. This is 720, 10 frames per second into the cloud, okay? Open camera support, multi-site, plug and play, and reseller mobile app branding. This is huge, because how many times do they look at their phones or look at their cameras a day? And now it's not saying somebody else's company's name. It's saying your company's name. So this person all day long is looking at your logo, your logo, your logo. It's almost like a brainwashing instance, right? Because that's what all the other guys are doing. SD card redundancy, customized notifications, multiple user guests, camera labels, continuous recording. I mean, go on and on and on these features and these value sets. These are only table stakes, guys. These are not like, this isn't the end-all, do-all. We continue to add to the platform to make it even better for you guys to gain market share. Here's some snapshots of the mobile app. Add cameras, your logo on the bottom. You can change the color of your mobile app, live view, labels, and filtering. Everything that you can do on the web, you can do within your mobile app. Some more benefits, easy to use. I'll run through this, guys, really quick, but just so you can see a snapshot. For those of you who like bullet points, some of our strengths. And here you go, Jason. Have fun.
Okay, so you know what? I'm looking at some of the quality, and I'm really amazed. Before you go here, Andre, I'm gonna start in on the pricing matrix in a second. But
okay,
as I look at some of the quality that I'm getting out of the camera, and I got to tell you, when I'm in a live view, it's amazing quality. Even at night, the night vision of the camera is very, very good. And it seems that, you know, there's this misnomer, so to speak, about bandwidth. You know, you'd think that with the quality of it, and it would just really take a lot of bandwidth out of the internet. I know you're doing compression, but what is it exactly? I mean, what is the bandwidth utilization of a camera, you know, depending on the resolution? I know.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point you bring up, because the thing here, the trick, right, is that all cameras work differently, right? So the intelligence resides in the cameras. If you use an Amcrest camera or an Access camera or a Hanwha camera, they're going to take different bandwidth consumption. So understanding that with your camera is very important. But we can take bandwidth. Typically, a 720 image will run you anywhere between a meg of upload video, right, bandwidth, internet bandwidth. So that's 1 meg, and we're doing it anywhere between 100 to 26 kilobits a second to 256. Okay.
Wow.
Jason, do you know how much kilobits it takes for a phone call on VoIP system?
You know, it takes about, if it's HD, somewhere around 84, 86.
That's right. Okay. That's right. 50 to 86, right? Now I'm telling you, I can give you a 720 video for 126 with no motion. With motion, 256.
Wow, amazing.
So that's really good that you brought that up, and obviously they're going to see some of the quality here in a minute.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay, so what we're going to do now, I'm going to go through this pricing matrix with you, and we really try to price this in a sense that it's going to give you a lot of storage plan options, and that's what it's all about. We don't have hardware. We don't have to install anything. All we have is cloud storage. And by the way, it is redundant storage. So it is backed up at 2 different data centers out there through the technology. So you're going to have that recording available all the time, anytime, to your end users. So let's go through each one of these.
One thing, Jason, while you went over that, I want to add something to that. So not only do we have redundancy, right, with that, we also can do redundancy with access cameras and soon Amcrest and Hanwha with SD cards or NAS devices. So say your internet goes out, boom, we'll record to an SD card and have that available for you in the cloud when it comes back up.
That's awesome. Thank you for adding that in there. So we have a 4-hour cloud storage, and this is really an entry level. I don't know if I want cameras. I'll go ahead and invest a camera, and I'll get that little simple storage. It's kind of a sneak peek for the customer. It's 99 cents a month, your cost. So you can sell it to the customer, add it in there for an additional $250 a month. You're making good margin on that, but it allows the customer to get in, take a look. Once they start to get in, they're going to want more. It's just like anything else in life. They're going to start to look at it, and they're going to come back to you and go, can I get this? Can I get one at home? Can I get one in my other office? Can I get one in my other location? How many more cameras can we add in there? Well, now you start moving upstream a little bit and moving into these longer storage data plans. So the 7-day cloud storage, again, quantity 0 to 99, $6.92. Very inexpensive. And just like all the other services that SkySwitch offers, the more volume you do, the better discount you're going to get, the more you're going to improve your margin. We do have an NRC of 99 cents per camera just to cover some overhead on our side, but at the same time, you can go 14-day, 30-day, 60-day, 90-day, and that's back storage. So the current calendar date, I can go back 7 days and have complete view of all activity that was recorded on that camera. So, and again,
hey Jason, what exactly is the NRC? Because I didn't know this in the beginning, and I don't know if it's the terminology, but just in case, what is exactly the NRC?
An NRC is just a non-recurring charge. It's just a one-time charge to put a camera on that you're going to be able to pass that right on to your customer during the setup fee. So it's nominal at 99 cents, but it just helps us. It just helps us keep the platform up. Covers a little overhead on our side to manage the platform and to keep everything running at smoothly for our reseller base out there.
Okay, yeah, I just wasn't familiar with the term, so I wanted to make sure that wasn't recurring with the added to the price every single month that you saw on the left. Okay.
Great, and just like all our voice services, our web and video conferencing services, the VSaas services also, the MRC charges are calculated simply by counting the highest monthly number of cameras registered. So when you add that and you register them to the platform, you'd be billed that next month for that number of cameras. Very simple, or for those numbers of plans, very simple. One thing to remember too about these plans, you can't mix and match plans, and you can't have a customer with 5 cameras and 3 of them have 7-day and 3 of them have 6, or 2 of them have 60-day. It's one plan per customer for all those cameras. Just want to make that clear for you. All right, next slide, please. Okay, so we're going to go into the live portal overview. Andre, go ahead.
Okay, let me switch it over here. Give me a second. Pause. Okay, can you see my screen okay?
We got it.
All right. So with this here, what we want to show you is that you guys are used to the platform already of logging into your Dash Manager, right? Well, now we've also integrated this Managed Cameras tab, which is your full admin portal for your camera systems now. So you'll see here, You just push this, it'll log you in, and now you'll have all of your edit features. You can create users from here. You can easily, let me refresh my screen right quick. You can easily create users from here. You can edit users as well. So for example, if a customer called me and I wanted to check on their account, you can see, oh, the cameras are all online, they're fine. I can test the connection if it shows you that it's bad. Not only that, but you can add cameras from here too. So this is a really good tool to do remote support, and not only remote support, but also manage labels. So if they had a new manager, right, and we'll say manager 1, and they came to store 2 and they needed these cameras, I can easily add them this way and then go to the guest user, type in their email, right, manager, if I can spell, right, 1 at skyswitch.com, manager, and then select the label that they're able to see now, right? So this is a really good tool because I don't want you guys to think that this is it, because it's just labels. You can create it however you want, just like Gmail, right? If anybody uses Gmail, you'll understand the magnitude of how you can adjust this. You can create cash register views, right? So say I have 100 locations and I've got 100 different cash registers. Well, now I can create a cash register label and then add all the cash registers to this label. So the next time the customer logs in, they have the cash register. They only want to see the cash register. They just click that label. Bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. Right?
So Andre,
here we allow you. Yeah.
Andre, I got one question for you real quick. Can I create a label for a specific camera and give guest access to that too? I mean, can I just give
Absolutely.
Personnel within my company access just to that specific camera and that specific view?
That's exactly right. So if I say I have, I don't know, guest, just say guest, right? And that guest is only allowed to see this one camera. I close, I go into guest, and I add the guest email, his name, and then I select that. That's the only camera he will have visibility, and he doesn't get any admin privileges, anything. He only gets to look at the camera, look at the video, and download, and that is it.
Perfect.
Yep. So here, we also not only allow you to manage this, we also allow you to edit the camera settings from here too, right? So continuous recording or motion, high HD or standard, notifications, and all these other really cool things, and then test connections and reconfigure connection. Reconfigure connection is probably my most favorite tool here, because I know you guys with the phone systems, you probably get phones sometimes, they get into this mode where they're just like frozen, and you maybe have to tell them to unplug it, or you send the command to the server that flashes it or whatever it does. Well, this is kind of very similar to that for a camera. Sometimes cameras can just go into this stale mode, and what this is like a defibrillator, right? And you shock the camera, and it wake up camera, right? And then it starts working properly again. And all that can be done remotely so that you don't need to send somebody on site. If a customer says, hey, you know what, I need 14 days of video, something keeps happening around day 10, and I don't have that recording. Boom, upsell for you. Come in here, you just change it, boom, change the plan, and then, of course, you can change the quantity if they need to add more cameras. Camera events. This is really good just to make sure that the camera is recording properly. Manage the guest users all from here. Oh, Kim just got fired. Boom. I take Kim, I get rid of Kim, and now she has no access anymore. Same thing with managing NAS devices as well. The customer decides to move on to another service. You just delete their account just with the click of a button. The other thing that we've done is we've incorporated a chat here, guys, so that you can easily see, you can ask questions and you can start the chat so that somebody can help you. There are help guides here. Okay, so if you want your customer to have help guides, and we've also incorporated this help guide with you just so that you can quickly find articles that you're having trouble. Maybe you need help adding an Axis camera, right? Axis camera, right? You open it.
Yeah.
Huh?
Type in CamCommand.
Oh, CamCommand. How to add a camera. Boom. And it gives you step-by-step guides here on how to add the camera. Okay? Now, password resets, all this good stuff is here as well. And then the big one. Here's the big one, guys. So from a remote management, this is like your living, this is where you live, because this is where you can find more money. So here I see BCD camera connection down. We run a test connection. We see the cameras offline. We check that site to see if there's other cameras that are down as well. And if they're all down, guess what? Probably an internet call. You call the customer, hey, are you having problems with your internet? We've noticed that you've been having some bandwidth issues. And they say, no, everything's been fine. Well, your system's down and we need to come work on it. Boom, service charge. So it's a great way for you to have full visibility into your customer site for their cameras and check how the cameras are doing. Billing history, check to see how many cameras you have online. And then, of course, also another good one is your admin settings. So admin settings allows you to really keep your own brand, but say you want to change your logo, or say you want to change the color of your app to support Breast Cancer Month, right? Well, now your app colors are, boom, right here, and you press save, and now your mobile app is pink. Really fun tool. Not a lot of people change it once they've chosen it, but if you go through any branding changes with your logo, then it's easy to match that as well and change it with just the click of a button, and you don't need to pay somebody to update your mobile app. Camera health checks, this is a big one. If your camera goes down or there's bandwidth issues, you can schedule emails notifications so that it goes to a support at your company's name, and then you know that there's a camera that's acting up and you can kind of pay attention to it. Anything else, Jason, we should be talking about in here? Maybe the store? I'm not sure where.
Yeah, you can just go on J. Jones, you go down to store, and you're going to see the MCREST cameras in the store.
Okay.
If you click on cameras.
Great. Wow.
And there's the MCREST.
Here they all are. Look at the prices, guys. Look at the pricing on these cameras. It's phenomenal. You know, to be able to put professional cameras in the hands of your customers at this price, I've been in this industry for a long time, and the quality that you're about to see on these live videos from these cameras, it's phenomenal. Phenomenal.
It is. I got to tell you, I've got the MCREST 1.3 MP indoor. I've got it sitting in my living room, and it's amazing quality. I just can't believe that I've got a camera and I have access to my smartphone. I've got access to any browser to take a look at any time when I'm out of town. I can look at my house and see anything that's going on with the house. I've got it set to motion, so if there's any kind of motion that happens in the house when I'm gone, it's automatically going to notify me, and I can go in and take a look at that camera. Awesome.
Okay. All right, so let's get into live, and I'm going to show you guys another dealer that has already, taken advantage of the branding, and I want to show you at what level, these services. So this specific customer has a, hopefully if I can log in, has a few different locations and really uses the power of this platform and this service pretty well, right? So as you can see here, the first thing you see is the cameras that start loading in, okay, and they start giving you the quality. Now know here that there's a couple really cool things that you'll notice. That this is a 3x3. This is pretty typical in the video surveillance world, but it's been like this for years, right? 30 years at least, that internet companies have been providing video from companies providing these layouts. There's no customization. They typically put a box here that says, oh, go 2x2 now, or 1x1, or 1 image, or 4x4. But what we're saying is, you know what? Scratch all that. You want this camera bigger, just take the corner and drag it. Boom. Now save that layout so the next time you log in, that's the layout and how you see the actual footage. Okay? And it automatically moves and adjusts all the cameras down so that this is your view now. Oh, you want to take this footage, you want to go back? No problem. Well, that's not it. Now I want to take this camera, I want to move it here. I want to flip this one here. I want to move this one here. Drag, drop, however you want to do it. This is the experience that your customer gets. This ease of use, this intuitiveness of the platform. Okay? Well, what happens when they wanted to maybe change motion detection areas? Right here, you click on motion detection. It takes you to the window automatically. You build the regions of interest that you're interested in for motion. I only want to be notified when there's motion there. You save and you go on. Okay? To go back, it's really easy. You just flip back and forth. Everything is completely dynamic and runs from the view for the camera. Now, one other really cool thing I want to show you here is we built a collapsible timeline from you guys. Now, we wanted to keep all of your users in one spot to do everything. We didn't want to send them to a layout page and then send them to a recording page and a timeline page and a settings page. Everything that the customer needs to do is all on this page here, okay? They want to look at recorded video, just pop the timeline bar up from here, and they say, why is there motion at this time? Let me go back. Well, not only are they going to be able to go back, it's going to play back all the footage for all the cameras that had motion at that time that's in your field of view. So everything will play here on the footage. And then you see, oh, wait, why was there motion there? I need to go ahead and download video if there was motion. And then that video comes up down here, as you can see, and you can send it, email it, do whatever you want. Oh, I want to go back live now. You just press the live button, and now you have live footage of all these sites. Okay, really simple. Okay, go ahead.
Just here.
Oh, I thought you were saying something.
Got a dog barking.
So here, you'll notice that there's the labels. So if you need to filter through a certain site, well, maybe they don't want to look at all these cameras on their platform. They only want to look at the hotel, right? So let's look at the hotel only, okay? Now I look at the hotel, I collapse it down, and I can see just my hotel because this is the view that I need. Oh, she's doing what she's supposed to be doing. She's waiting for customers to come in. I can see if there's people coming in here, down the hallway, what's going on with the market stand, the snack stand, and of course the elevator. Everything visible from one screen, okay? Very easy to see and maneuver. I need to look at video back to a certain date. You can go back to a certain date, okay? Now, we talked about redundancy. Look at this. I got a drop down. I want to see the recordings on my NAS device or on my SD card. It's as quickly as clicking the different buttons here. I need to edit. I can edit my camera just from here. Here you go. You see somebody walking. Now they're coming in here. Completely continuous here, moving through the whole pictures. If I need to delete the camera, I can delete it. If they want to upgrade, they can press upgrade, and then it provides them with your contact information so they know who to contact so they can get more cameras on their platform. Now, Jason, typically, I like to hear questions on this. Typically, there's a lot of questions at this time. You know, now I think would be a good time, unless you wanted to wait a little bit, to actually maybe answer some questions on the platform, the setup, and maybe user base from this view.
Yeah, so we do have some questions that are coming in, but one thing I want to remind everybody too is that when you come in and activate your video surveillance platform inside your Dash Manager, you're actually going to get 5 free storage plans that are included with your admin account. You know, there's no better way than to go out there and sell this than to demonstrate it first, and to demonstrate putting those cameras around your office, showing this view, this multi-camera view, this 3x3, and you know, just showing some of the capability that they can have and the competency that they can have and look at their own businesses and be able to view their businesses and check on their businesses and, you know, see when people are coming in and out and just see that activity, it's going to be huge for you. So we take into consideration, in order to go out there and sell it, you need to demonstrate it, and we provide those 5 free accounts to you. So the first question I have here is, aren't there legal matters to deal with if you installed security cameras? I've heard you get classified as another type of business by the state, and a lot of regulations come into play. I think that's a good question for you, Andre.
Yeah, it's a great question. So the short answer is yes. The long answer is it depends on which state you are and what type of licenses that you have. So say in the state of North Carolina, for example, the state of North Carolina, in order to run cable and videos, you need 2 different things, which is a North Carolina burglar license, alarm license, and a low voltage license. That's just in the state of North Carolina, and I only know 6 other states that do that. Okay, Texas, I believe, is one of them, North Carolina, and then maybe a couple up north. It is not very common, but it does require that. Now, that's just the installer. So if you use the subcontractor, for example, that had it, or if the customer contracted out an installer, then they could do it that way. Again, it's not common. It just depends on your state. So I do recommend you to check to see if there's any kind of video surveillance rule in states that would require this. So,
Andre, I just wanted to ask
short
you
answer,
too.
yeah. Yep.
I mean, sometimes, I mean, when you're looking at, people want to classify video as security, but if you classify it as surveillance or some
Right.
other, you know, some other term, does some of those legal recommendations or requirements or certifications go away?
They go away. They go away. They go away because in the eyes of the state, security means alarm systems. Anything that's added into as central monitoring stations that are governed by cops or whatever, those are what they're considering as security. This is actually not security. This is its own classification now, either CCTV or video surveillance. And once you classify it that way, literally you should not be running into any issues. Like I said, there's a couple states that still will do some requirements, but that's it. I honestly never get the question, maybe randomly, or, you know, like we just did. That's it. So we can go on to the next question, and we can talk about that more directly with the people that are concerned and how to identify if your state does actually, in fact, require some additional requirements.
Okay, that's a great answer. Our next question, are you doing a dual stream recording? Is that what you're doing right now? Can you explain what you're seeing in those recordings?
No, this is not dual stream. This is actually one stream, and it comes directly to the Camcommand cloud servers at AWS, okay? And though that one stream is being compressed and run, depending on the setting that you have, at 720, 10 frames per second at a maximum of 512 kilobits a second. If you have an SD card or a NAS on site, then there is a stream that will go directly to that, which is a dual stream, but it's not external, so it only is an internal network consumption, not external. So these 6 cameras, for example, have anywhere between, I would say, 126 to 250, so you're using about 1.5 megabits upload speed.
Okay, super. Thank you very much. The next question here, do we have any informational videos that SkySwitch resellers can use for their marketing purposes? That would be a question for me. So currently today, we don't have any videos because it's very, very difficult to brand a video. We will look more into that to try to give you some better marketing collaterals. We do have a new marketing collateral that will be available in December. As a matter of fact, all our marketing collaterals are being repurposed, redesigned, and those will be available to all our resellers in December of 2017. But as far as the videos, I will work with Andre to try to figure out what we can do to allow you to have some videos that you might be able to post up on YouTube or something with your own brand. So let us think about that. Let us see what we can come up with, and we'll get back to you on that. The next question that we have is, any chance CamCommand will integrate or work with Mobitix cameras?
Mobotic?
Mobotic, sorry.
Is that Mobotic? Yeah.
Mobotics.
So,
yeah.
you know, if you guys have, I'm going to answer this as an agnostic kind of answer. And, you know, if you guys have other cameras, you know, and there's enough value to adding, to opening up the platform for port forwarded situations, then, you know, we can, you know, at CamCommand and SkySwitch, we can really talk about this internally to see if it's a value to open it up. Now, the Mobotics cameras, yes, they're compatible at the end of the day, but it is done through a port forwarding scenario through H.264 technology. The integrations that you see with Axis and Amcrest and all of these guys, we developed the software with these major camera manufacturers so that they embedded our solution into the cameras. And that's why we don't need servers, and we can utilize the technology and the compression rates, right? So when you talk about Mobotics, and you know, you might be a reseller of Mobotics already, but probably the reason why you got into Mobotics in the first place is because of the price point, right? And I guarantee you that the price points between Mobotics and Amcrest are, if not similar, or better, okay? But if you're stuck on Mobotics, you know, I would talk to Jason, talk to us, see if, you know, maybe it's time to open up the H.264 and you could add them through port forwarding. Not as good of a solution as the plug-and-play one, but definitely can be compatible.
Okay, thanks very much. That's a good question. And to kind of roll back into a similar question here, you know, is there any cameras currently or in near development that are completely wireless? A current customer right now, or somebody on the webinar, sells Lorex systems, and Lorex has introduced a wire-free system that runs on lithium-ion batteries, and they send alerts when the battery needs to be recharged. So are there any plans to support these types of cameras?
So ironically, we have actually been in discussion with Lorex, and it's very possible in the next 6 months that we could have some Lorex cameras on our platform. Yes. So, and this is something that's really cool too, guys. We're constantly being innovative. We're trying to get you as many plug-and-play cameras as fast as we can, and without kind of crossing over the other cameras, right? So Lorex, for example, it's like an Arlo, right? They basically copied Arlo. And they're providing this camera, and we don't have one of those on our platform. So we would love to work out, you know, to have this stuff, and we are actually communicating with them. So you might be able to see something from them soon.
Perfect, perfect. The next question that we have up is, can sub-resellers brand their own CamCommand solution? The answer to that is absolutely. When you submit a sub-reseller request, we will build an admin portal for them. We brand that admin portal, and then every aspect of branding for the browser or for the apps can be at the sub-reseller level too.
So let me understand that, Jason. They're asking if they can have a CamCommand platform and then have their resellers underneath them brand the branded solution. Is that correct?
That's correct. And we currently do it today with all our other services for a sub-reseller scenario. So there's no reason why we can't do it underneath there too. So
absolutely, it's got some more pricing to it. Just to let you know, it's not a free service, but it is, you know, something that we all can do together for sure.
Absolutely. Okay, so the next question is, are the plans month to month? They are. They are an MRC, monthly recurring charge. So when you get a storage plan, you pick the storage plan that best suits your customer's requirements, and then you would bill them every month, and you will be billed every month for the plans that you have activated within your CamCommand platform. Okay, are there any varifocal cameras in the store, are they all fixed lens? So in the store, when they say varifocal, being able to pan, to tilt, zoom, is that the what he's asking?
No, no. So varifocal means, yeah, so for the people that don't know about varifocal means that there is a different style lens that allows you to do an optical zoom and zoom in and out. Okay, it's not a PTZ. A PTZ is a pan tilt, meaning you can move the camera from side to side. But a varifocal lens, you know, like we said, I'm going to go back to this sheet here. Actually, sorry about that. So we talked about varifocal. I'm going to show you how many varifocal cameras are compatible with this platform right here. So if we go to this product website, we come here, we go to product selector, and then we can easily come in here and select varifocal here. These are all the compatible cameras that are varifocal now. Look how many, hundreds of them. So short answer, yes, and through different camera manufacturers as well.
Okay, very good news. We're running out of time here, so I'm going to try to get to the rest of these questions as quickly as possible. Can you speak to wireless options and trade-off to quality between wireless PoE?
Wireless trade-off with quality. Oh man, this is the ugly stepchild question, right? The bottom line, guys, is that if you can avoid wireless at all costs, avoid it, because it's never as one, secure, and it's never as complete as a wired system, right? So the limitations are always around the interferences and everything else. With that said, knowing that, okay, the wireless solutions do work great outside of any frequency issues and them coming. Would I add wireless cameras to my installation job? Absolutely. Okay. We've noticed some fall offs, maybe when high usage of bandwidth is out and the wireless signal goes down for whatever reason, then the cameras take a little bit longer to come back up. But in my home, I have Amcrest wireless cameras throughout my whole entire house. I even use the bullet ones outdoor because I didn't want to run a cable back to a home run. So I'm comfortable with using them. I've used this platform for since we built it on Camcommand, and I'm very comfortable with it. But again, it's not as secure and robust as a wired solution. I mean, Jason, okay, you've had a wireless camera up, correct? Have you seen any issues?
I have seen no issues, but again, it's in my home, and I don't have a lot of interference. I don't have a lot of people logging on to my local network and utilizing wireless. So, and I don't have a lot of devices that are in demand for the bandwidth on my wireless network. So, again, I think it depends on application too. If you're taking it into a customer that, they're a retail store and they want to set one camera above a register, it could be perfectly applicable for that.
Not only that, Jason, it's a good point, because sometimes wireless is a good way to get a proof of concept, and you don't need to do anything big installation. You got an office building that wants a camera, say, hey, listen, I'll just plug this camera into the wall, hook it up to your Wi-Fi, just test it out. If you like the quality and you like how it works, we'll install more for you, right? And the legitimate way, with mounting and focusing and cable run.
Absolutely, absolutely. One more question, and I think it has to do a little bit more with legal matters, but a question here: if a NAS is stolen along with the cameras after a theft, for example, if there was somebody shot at a 7-Eleven by the police, and the police come in and confiscate the NAS box and cameras, what's the scenario there?
I don't really quite understand it. The question. So you're saying that there's an event that happens, the police want to look at the video. Why would they be taking the NAS and the cameras?
Maybe the police confiscated them. So to.
Right. So they wouldn't confiscate it. In my experience, maybe somebody's had that happen. That's why they're asking it. But in my experience, they wouldn't confiscate it unless somebody was trying to hide something and wasn't giving them visibility. The great thing about this system, guys, is that if a police needs the video, you just come into your settings right here, okay? And then once you go into the settings tab, you just add that officer or the police agent and here email, and they give him the cameras that he needs to look at the recorded video. And that's it. Then he can download and do whatever he needs.
Which is the big benefit of storing in the cloud, right? I mean, if it's in the cloud, it's in the cloud, and it can't be stolen. It can't be confiscated.
Yeah, he can take the camera and the NAS device all he wants. He ain't going to take the video. We still have it, you know?
Okay.
So just notifies the police officer that it is a cloud system.
Correct. Okay, we have time for one more question. I'm just going to take this one. Everybody's being very generous and giving us thanks for the presentation that we've had today. But can a customer be on 2 plans at once? For instance, they may want 14-day storage on 2 cameras and 90-day storage on 3 others. Is it possible to have a multi-level client such as this, or would all 5 cameras have to be on the same plan? If it's a single customer, they need to all be on the same plan. However, you can create a second customer, all right, and then all those cameras could be on a different plan. So they would be separate customers, and that's the way you would accomplish that.
And I want to add to this, Jason, really quick, because you know, I'm finding this question more and more and more. And what we're thinking about doing, and please, if you feel this is a value add, let us know. Speak up, because we've learned from you guys and what customers are asking in the field. And if we see the request coming in from more than none, then it's something that we can work on and try and add. Now, this is something that comes up constantly, and the plan is, I don't know when, it hasn't gone into development, but the plan is, when we go down this road, to offer a dual login from one login. So basically what would happen is if somebody needed different camera recording plans, then they would have at the top right of their name the site that they're at, and then if they needed to switch those sites, they would just click the drop down and go with the other one, so they wouldn't have to log out and log back in. That's kind of the idea, but the recording plans on one platform with different camera subscriptions, it's more difficult than you can think, and there are no plans whatsoever to incorporate multiple plans per camera.
Okay, thank you, Andre. That's all the time we have today. Thank you, Andre, for all the information, for being so informative about the video surveillance industry, the platform, the capabilities that these resellers can take out. Thank you, Jeff, for organizing this. If any of you out there have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to contact me via email at jason.jones@skysearch.com or call me personally. If you have a big deployment and you need some consultative services, Andre and I would be happy to get on a call with you and to walk you through and give you some tips and tricks as far as what to do at that juncture. Thank you all again. Have a wonderful day. We'll catch you on the next webinar. Goodbye.
Thank you. Good selling, guys. Bye.